Robert Beresford Brown, widely known as Bobby Brown, was born on February 5, 1969, in Roxbury, a neighborhood in Boston, Massachusetts. He grew up in a modest home, raised in a working-class family with 7 siblings. His mother, Carol, was a substitute teacher, and his father, Herbert Brown, worked in construction. Life in the tough neighborhoods of Boston exposed Bobby to both the harsh realities of inner-city life and the soulful sounds that would eventually shape his musical destiny. Bobby's love for music was ignited at a young age. He was heavily influenced by James Brown and Michael Jackson, 2 icons whose stage presence and energy captivated him. At just 9 years old, Bobby co-founded New Edition, a group that would become a trailblazer in R&B and pop music. Alongside Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, Ralph Tresvant, and later Ronnie DeVoe, Bobby helped usher in a new era of teen pop during the 1980s. Their breakthrough came with the 1983 hit Candy Girl, which topped charts and became a cultural sensation. The group quickly followed up with hits like Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man. However, as New Edition's popularity soared, Bobby's bold and often rebellious behavior began to clash with the group's more polished image. He felt creatively constrained and frustrated by the management and financial arrangements. In 1985, at the age of 16, Bobby Brown was removed from New Edition. It was a devastating but pivotal moment that would catapult him into a wildly successful and turbulent solo career. In 1986, Bobby Brown launched his solo career, releasing his debut album, King of Stage. While it had moderate success, it wasn't until his second album, Don't Be Cruel, 1988, that he truly exploded onto the music scene. The album blended new jack swing, R&B, and pop in a revolutionary way, becoming a defining record of the era. With hits like My Prerogative, Every Little Step, Roni, Don't Be Cruel, Bobby became a global superstar, selling millions of records and earning Grammy Awards. His dance moves, charisma, and raw energy made him a teen idol and one of the most recognizable faces in late 1980s pop culture. He earned the nickname the Bad Boy of R&B, a title that would come to define both his stage presence and personal struggles. In 1992, Bobby Brown married Whitney Houston, America's sweetheart and one of the greatest vocalists of all time. Their union was a media sensation, merging 2 music powerhouses in what many thought would be a fairy tale romance. However, their marriage was marred by addiction, infidelity, and allegations of domestic issues. Their daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown, was born in 1993, a beacon of joy in the couple's stormy relationship. But the pair's battles with substance abuse became increasingly public. Despite their professed love, their marriage crumbled under the weight of personal demons, tabloid scrutiny, and mutual enablement. They divorced in 2007, ending 15 years of marriage. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Bobby Brown struggled with the consequences of fame and addiction. He had frequent run-ins with the law, including arrests for drug possession, DUI, and probation violations. His public image shifted from teen idol to cautionary tale. Despite these challenges, Bobby remained a figure of fascination and cultural relevance. His reality show with Whitney, Being Bobby Brown, 2005, gave a raw, often shocking glimpse into their chaotic personal life. It was both criticized and praised for its honesty, making Bobby one of the early stars of the celebrity reality TV era. In 2012, Whitney Houston was found dead in a hotel bathtub due to accidental drowning and heart disease, exacerbated by cocaine use. The news shattered the world and devastated Bobby. In 2015, even more tragedy struck when Bobbi Kristina, his only child with Whitney, was also found unresponsive in a bathtub and died after months in a coma. Losing both Whitney and Bobbi Kristina under eerily similar circumstances was a crushing blow that forced Bobby to reflect deeply on his life, decisions, and legacy. In recent years, Bobby Brown has focused on sobriety, family, and activism. He remarried in 2012 to Alicia Etheridge, his longtime friend and manager. Together, they have welcomed 3 children, Cassius, Bodhi, and Hendrix. His marriage to Alicia has provided a foundation of stability and healing. Bobby also founded the Bobbi Kristina Serenity House, a non-profit aimed at helping victims of domestic violence, in honor of his daughter. In 2018, BET released a mini-series, The Bobby Brown Story, which chronicled his tumultuous life and rise from the streets of Boston to the heights of superstardom. The film highlighted his resilience and the enduring impact of his music. Despite the chaos, Bobby Brown's influence on music is undeniable. He helped pioneer the New Jack Swing movement, inspired generations of artists, and bridged the gap between R&B and hip-hop. Hits like My Prerogative remain iconic, and his work with New Edition is still celebrated as foundational to modern boy bands and R&B. At the tender age of 9, he co-founded the group New Edition alongside childhood friends Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, and Ralph Tresvant. The group later welcomed Ronnie DeVoe. By 1983, New Edition exploded onto the scene with their debut single Candy Girl, a sugary R&B track that reached the top of the Billboard R&B charts and won over teenage fans across the nation. Their self-titled second album featured hits like Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man, propelling them to superstardom. Yet, as the group found fame, Bobby Brown's energetic and unpredictable behavior began clashing with the group's image. He was young, bold, and yearning for more creative freedom. By 1985, Bobby was voted out of New Edition, a move that was devastating at the time, but would ultimately lead him to solo greatness. Bobby Brown embarked on his solo journey with the 1986 album, King of Stage, a modest effort that hinted at his potential. But it was his second album, Don't Be Cruel, 1988, that turned him into a phenomenon. Fueled by the production talents of Babyface and L.A. Reid, the album was a bold fusion of R&B, pop, and hip-hop, ushering in the New Jack Swing era. It went 6 times platinum and produced multiple hits, including My Prerogative, a defiant anthem of independence that topped the Billboard Hot 100. Every Little Step, earning him a Grammy Award for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. Ronnie, Don't Be Cruel, and Rock Witcher. At this point, Bobby Brown had become more than a pop star, he was a cultural force. His 1992 follow-up album, simply titled Bobby, continued his success with songs like Humpin' Around and Get Away. That same year, he married one of the biggest superstars in the world, Whitney Houston. Bobby's relationship with Whitney Houston captivated the public. She was the polished, angelic songbird, and he was the brash, streetwise entertainer. Their union in 1992 was the subject of constant media attention. Though they shared a deep love and mutual admiration, their marriage was plagued by substance abuse, infidelity, and domestic issues. In 1993, their daughter Bobbi Kristina Brown was born, offering a glimmer of hope. But as the years progressed, the couple's drug use and volatile relationship took center stage. In 2005, they starred in the reality show, Being Bobby Brown, which, while popular, gave the public a raw and unfiltered look into their chaotic lifestyle. Their marriage ended in divorce in 2007, after 15 years. Whitney's tragic death in 2012, followed by the devastating loss of Bobbi Kristina in 2015, brought Bobby to his knees. The losses forced him to reckon with the consequences of addiction and the fragility of life. Between the late 1990s and early 2000s, Bobby Brown's once golden career was overshadowed by legal battles, drug charges, and rehab stints. He was arrested multiple times for DUI, drug possession, and domestic violence. His financial fortunes dwindled as court cases, legal fees, and addiction took their toll. The former chart topper was becoming a tragic tabloid regular. Bobby's story, however, didn't end in tragedy. In 2012, he married his longtime manager and friend Alicia Etheridge, who played a pivotal role in helping him find balance and peace. Together, they have 3 children, Cassius, Bodhi, and Hendrix. That same year, Bobby released his final solo album, The Masterpiece, a deeply personal record reflecting on life, family, and loss. He also penned his memoir, Every Little Step, My Story, 2016, a brutally honest account of his journey through fame, addiction, and fatherhood. Despite past tensions and splits, Bobby Brown's bond with New Edition has matured over time. Though ousted in the mid-1980s and at odds with members in later years, Bobby eventually returned to the group older, wiser, and more reflective. In 1996, they reunited for the Home Again album and tour, though tensions flared again. But by the mid-2010s, the rift had begun to heal. The BET biopic, The New Edition Story, 2017, renewed interest in the group's legacy and served as a healing moment for fans and the members themselves. By 2022, New Edition had reunited for the Culture Tour, with Bobby on stage alongside Ronnie, Ricky, Ralph, Mike, and Johnny Gill. Their Las Vegas residency and performances across the US cemented their lasting legacy as one of the greatest R&B groups of all time. Bobby has said in interviews that he sees the group as family, and his bond with them now rests on mutual respect and shared history rather than old grievances. Bobby Brown's life reads like a novel marked by success, scandal, love, loss, and ultimately endurance. He was never just a singer. He was a cultural phenomenon, a survivor, and a flawed but fiercely passionate man. His music changed R&B, his charisma inspired a generation, and his struggles humanized him. Through all the highs and lows, Bobby Brown remains a legend, not just because of what he achieved, but because of what he overcame.